Hello, gorgeous soul. How are you today? So, welcome to podcast episode 20. The best is yet to come. If and when you are joining me here live on Facebook, please do let me know in the comments. If you're a first time listener, let me know whereabouts in the world you are tuning in from. Welcome to my podcast. If and when you're catching the replay, hashtag replay if you are here on Facebook. And if you are on the podcast platform, thank you for subscribing to the podcast platform. And if you're watching over on YouTube, be sure to press the subscribe button. Thank you. So I had to remind myself of this quote the last few weeks. The best is yet to come. And it's very much it's a motto that I've always focused on living by. Of rather than living in the past and focusing on the past being the best thing, I always have this mindset of the best is yet to come. And the reason that I was reminded of this in the last week is because I have recently got a lot of clarity around how I want to help women, how I want to serve women, the different offers that I have in my business, and they're very much locked in, which feels very good and very exciting. However, what I've found is because I've now got this clarity that I really want to run with things. And for my energy type, for my personality type, being a manifesting generator, that means I want to run really fast. And I was speaking to my coach about this morning because when I first started out in my business years ago, I was very much building and leading in a survival need state. So survival energy, it was go, go, go. It was hustle. It was full on. There was a lot of pressure. I was creating all the time and I was leading all of my programs right in the very beginning live all the time. Like everything was live. Facebook groups were live. The actual programs were live. Everything was on all the time. And the business model that I have now is very different. Now I've got structure. Now I've got things in place. Now I have the products are there. I don't have to be delivering them live all of the time because I've created them and I've got them, and that feels amazing. And I can get caught up still now in the identity of how things used to be. And this is what I want to talk to you about in today's episode specifically. Is finding yourself getting caught up in past identities and past way of being, like past way of like thinking or feeling. Because if we want to create something different, then we have to embody that now in order to create something new. And I found in the last sort of few weeks of me having an idea for launching something new, which is a masterclass, which is going to be free. So I'm going to be talking about that on my social medias. I'm going to be sharing that with the people in my audience. It's about the decision of going all in on something and actually how that looks, how that feels, and how it changes everything moving forward when we really decide and make the commitment to lock into something. And what I've noticed in myself as I've been pulling the content together for the masterclass is how I've actually responded to that energy of being all in. Because I have found myself in the last week or two going into this frantic energy, going into this creation craziness, going into this state of like not stopping, like my mind getting absolutely like focused on like right now and what needs doing, and it needs doing now, and this franticness and this need vibe and all of that. And I've had to remind myself that it isn't about the now. It's not about the now. The only thing that I have any control over now is how I think and how I feel and how I lead. And it's the same for you. And I've had to remind myself in the last few days that the best is yet to come. And I have evidence in my life to give to myself that that is 100% true. But when we get all up in our head, when we get all up in our feels, when we find ourselves going into that subconscious way of being, and for me, this is the work that I'm currently doing, like myself and also with my clients, is it's really stepping into and embodying that new identity of how I want to lead myself and what I actually want to create in what vibe, because it doesn't have to be like it's been in the past. And this is the same for you. If you want to make change in your life and in your business, then you cannot create it from an old identity. It's not about who you thought you had to be. This is about leading in who you actually are, doing the things that align with you, doing what it is that lights you up, taking the action and taking the action steps that align with how you want to feel, and being open to change, because ultimately, if we're growing and evolving, that involves change, and that in itself is unsettling and uncomfortable. I'm a very sensitive soul. So for me, the change feels unsettling. That void in between, I did a masterclass called the identity gap, that gap between where we are now and where we're going is the work. And it's bringing as much presence and as much alignment to these moments. And this is, like I said, what I am working on. And the quote that has been coming up for me this last few weeks is, the best is yet to come. There is no need for all of this craziness in this launch. You know, this launch could be completely different. I've actually got 44% batteries, I'm saying this, which is vibes, because that's my angel number. Let me know what your angel number is if you've got one. So I just wanted to remind you of this, because when you can change your mindset and the way that you think and feel about the future, and rather than being worried about it, rather than being anxious about, well, what if this works out? What if it doesn't work out? I know limiting beliefs that can come up, excuse me, like, is this actually going to work? Can I do this? Is this possible for me? Can someone like me really do something like this? The answer is yes, you can. To all of those limiting beliefs, the answer is yes, you can. If you're willing to do the inner work required to change your limiting beliefs. Your beliefs have to align with what it is that you want to create and make happen. So whatever it is that you want to create and make happen, it's about having the vision, having the desire, having the goal, being excited about it, and then letting that outcome go, and then looking at the right next step in front of us. What is the right next step? What is the right next move? Because we don't have to have it all figured out. All we need to do is take the next step. And when we find ourselves like getting stressed out, being anxious, experiencing those feelings of going into meltdown or like overworking, hustling, pushing, because that's what we've done in the past. And sometimes that does work. But ultimately, I know now you're in a different position now than you've ever been in. And so in order to create and manifest something new and something different, we have to lead in the new way. And that can feel uncomfortable. So my work from today, from today's coaching call, was actually creating a joy list, a dopamine list. And the reason for that is I can find joy and I can get dopamine hits from working. I get that from working my business. I get that from creating in my business. But what I can do is I overextend that. So for example, when I'm creating something, and I'm sharing this in case any of you relate, is when I'm creating something in my business and the energy is, right, I want to make this happen and it's happening really fast, I can just plow energy after energy after energy after energy after energy into it. And even when I'm tired, I will keep going and I'll keep going and I'll keep going and I'll keep going. Just because I can doesn't mean that I should. Because ultimately, that's not what I want anymore. I don't want to be leading and getting to the place of depletion and burnout to then have to take a break, to then come back. For me, I want to create structure. I want to create stability. I want to create freedom. I want to create more consistency for myself, for my clients, for everything in my business. And so in order to do that, it's me shifting into a new way of leading and being with the mindset of the best is yet to come, and trusting that the action that I take in alignment is enough. There is no rush. There's no pressure. There's no stress. The only pressure that there actually is the pressure that I'm putting on myself. So I want to ask you the question, Are you putting unnecessary pressure on yourself? Because I know that I am guilty of doing this to myself. Are you someone who gets all worked up? Are you someone who can work really hard? Are you someone who you will give it all you've got when you've got something that you're working towards? Don't give it absolutely everything. Do some work in alignment, take a break. Do some work in alignment and then go do something else. Create time for resting. Create time, create free time just to enjoy. And then it means that when you are taking action in your business, it's coming from a place of being in a good energy space. Like having the energy to fully give what you have to give in the creative process, like in your actual courses. Like for me, the last launch that I did, it's probably the first launch that I've done where I have wrapped it all in all of the systems and all of the processes and all of the things. And I realized coming out of that launch being like really stretched, like my energetic capacity was really stretched, that actually I don't have to do all of the things like the emails, the back end stuff, all of that in the moment. It's about actually either preparing that prior to launch or, allowing someone else to just take the reins with that and create that for me so that that is there to support me through the launch. And so if this is you, if you relate to any of what I'm saying, if you are a crazy energy like I can be, if you put a lot of pressure on yourself, if you can get impatient when it comes to things manifesting in your life, I want you to know that what it is that you want is there. That's because you have that connection and you have that vision for what it is. You can see it, you know it's possible. So you know you're capable, you know it's possible. You are just going, why is it not here yet? And getting impatient for well, if I just work harder, that'll make it come to me faster. We actually repel the very thing that we want by constantly focusing on it. There's an analogy that I've used before, and it's, if you want to catch a butterfly in the garden, or you want to catch a rabbit, let's say, a wild rabbit in the garden or in a field, if you chase the rabbit or you chase the butterfly, the butterfly flies away or the rabbit just runs around like crazy and disappears. This is the same for the things that we want to manifest. Whereas to catch the butterfly or to get close to the butterfly, if we create the garden, the butterfly will come and land right next to us on the flower. If we have food like carrots or whatever for the rabbit and we put those on the ground and we sit still with the carrots around, the rabbits will come to us. So this is sort of the analogy that I want you to think about today. If you have related to, like I said, putting pressure on yourself, feeling anxious, or you find yourself going into that hustle, that survival energy, that push, that need vibe when it comes to creation. And I just want to remind you that the best is yet to come. You have not even touched the capacity in which you are able to create and what experiences are to come. I can see it in here, in terms of what I can see and visualize for the future. And I know it's possible. And it's just taking all pressure off how that's actually going to manifest, knowing that it's done and being excited for actually everything that's led up to this point is all the foundation for everything else to manifest on top of. And that's a really beautiful thing. So this is your reminder today. The best is yet to come. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Take a breath, take a moment, make sure you subscribe to all the things. And if you want to learn more about my upcoming masterclass, it's going to be happening at the end of June. Just head to my social media accounts. You can go to Facebook or Instagram. I'll be talking about the masterclass on there. It's about changing the way that, when you go all in on something, it's doing that in full alignment. So really locking into that and noticing your inconsistency or your consistency, your energy, how you lead. Do you go into frantic vibes? Are you overworking? Are you putting pressure on? And it's really getting clear on whereabouts you're at and then the action steps you can take leading forwards to make sure that you are in full alignment. You are the magnet. You are committed, you are consistent, and the main thing is you're doing it from the right energy space. So like I said, details will be across my social media accounts. If you go to the link in my bio, I will be linking up a registration page just for you to put your name and email in. So if you want to register for that, please do. It's completely free to join. But other than that, wishing you the most gorgeous day, and I will see you next week for episode 21 of the podcast.